देखते हैं ऐसा रखा है दे सकते हैं मुझे क्या बता रही है एकदम से वो कंपोज कर आप कहीं कर रहे हैं أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. It is the day of Arbaeen, and the first Zair of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam is Jabir, who's coming from Medina, an old man, blinded. And on the same day, from the other side, we see the caravan of Noor coming from Sham. Among them are Zainab al-Kubra, Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, and all the oppressed Mazloom household of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. Jabir, he stands by the grave of Imam, greets him with the salam, and says, Assalamu alayk ya Abu Abdullah. Says once, says twice, repeats it again. He has no reply, says that Hussein, how can you reply with no head? How can you reply? Now the actions that we do, all of them should be registered as worship, and they are counted as worship if they are done qurbatan ilallah, if we have that niyyah. In the busy lifestyles that we have, we tend to forget that niyyah all the time. What you can do now, this moment in this land of Karbala, sign a mandate with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala from this moment until the end of your life. Whatever good you do, whatever hasana you will be doing, all of that will be registered as thawab, as ajr. For that, just a niyat, sign a mandate with Allah, qurbatan ilallah, that Allah is among those who is ameen. Whatever is trusted to Him is never lost, is never forgotten. And when you do it here in Karbala and take Abu Abdullah as your mediator and as your shafi', it is a double sawab and ajr that we get. One of the concepts that we see in the Masaib of Karbala, and to which a lot of emphasis is given by, may that be Sayyid al-Shuhada, may that be Imam al-Sajjad, Hazrat Zainab, or even Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wasalam, when he returns, it is the thirst, the atash that was in Karbala, which is a very, very valid and among the fundamental concepts and beliefs that we have, that atash did exist. Now when we look back into, on the day of Ashura, there on a number of occasions we see that atash is mentioned. Ali Akbar, he shows his tongue to Abu Abdullah, says, see father, how thirsty I am. Imam shows his tongue, and in there Ali Akbar says, yours is drier than mine. Now when we look back again, Abu Abdullah al-Husayn is among those commanders who starts his day before everyone else. And he is the last one to die. And it wasn't as such that he just sat back in the tent and just giving out orders. It was Sayyid al-Shuhada who was with every shaheed. Every shaheed who fell to the ground, it was Abu Abdullah by his side. And the last here is Abu al-Fazl al-Abbas, after which we have two more Shuhada. One is Abdullah bin Hassan and the other is Ali Asfar. Now even then we see that this atash is mentioned so much that Sakina, she says that now that you've set off, when to Abu al-Fazl he says, now that you are departing, why do you not get some water for these children? They're all thirsty. Sakina says the same. Imam is the same. And then we see that Abu Abdullah, when Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wasalam, he returns. Among the 5 slogans he has, he says, Ana ya ahl al-alam, inna jaddi al-Husayn qataluhu atshana. Indeed, my grandfather Hussein was killed thirsty. Or when we see that Imam Sajjad, when he is burying Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he lays the body in the ground, closes the grave with his fingers, writes, هذا قبر حسين بن علي بن أبي طالب الذي قتلوه عطشانا. This is the grave of Hussein, son of Ali, grandson of Abu Talib, who was killed thirsty. So thirst is something that we have to remember. When we look into the teachings of Ahlul Bayt and the riwayat of Ma'sumin, there says that in water everyone has haqq, everyone has a right. And if you find that your sins are not being forgiven, give water to others to get your sins forgiven. If there is something that you want to take on board among the mustahabbat, like for example the night prayers, and you try a lot and it's not happening, water. Give water to someone who is thirsty. That will open up doors and your wishes will be granted. So thirst is something that we have to work on. And again, if we see that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, when Sakina comes after the shahadat of Abu Abdullah holding the feet of Zuljana, she says that father says to Zuljana that I know my father is no more, because the horse has returned without the rider. Says, As-suqiya abi am qutila atshana. Says, was my father quenched or did he die thirsty? Now she says something to the horse, and there an answer is heard from the battlefield. Says that, O people, whenever you drink a sip of water, do remember the thirst of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Now, if we go back 40 days from this Arbaeen, and that is the Maqtal of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, there are quite a few reports that talk about, that mention the Masa'ib of Karbala, what happened on this day of Ashura. Now, one after the other, everyone is martyred, everyone gives their sermons in support of Abu Abdullah. And these loyal ashab and supporters of Imam, they are such that they do not want anything. They just want Imam to live a few more seconds. They know that he also will be departing soon. But they want to do everything so that Imam, he lives a few more seconds more than them. Now, after the shahadat of every one of them, now we come to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Here says, وَلَمَّا قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُهُ وَأَهْلُ بَيْتِهِ وَلَمْ يَبْقَ أَحَدٌ عَزَمَ عَلَىٰ لِقَاءِ اللَّهِ. When there wasn't anyone remaining, there Imam, he embarks on this journey to Shahada. فدعا ببردة رسول الله فالتحف بها وأفزع عليها درعه. He asks for the armor of Rasulullah, and that was brought to him. He holds his sword, واستوى على متن جواده. He seats on himself on the horse. ثم توجه نحو القوم. He addresses the nation and then says to them, وَيْلَكُمْ عَلَى مَا تُقَاتِلُونَنِي. Shame upon you, why are you fighting me? And they all say that نُقَاتِلُكَ بُغْضًا مِنَّا لِأَبِيكَ, that we fight you because of the hate that we have to your father Ali, and what he did in the battles of Badr and Hunayn, and how he killed our ancestors, the kuffar, the mushrikeen. That is the reason why we are fighting you. Upon hearing this response and reply from them, Imam, he wept a lot. And then says that you're fighting me just because of that hate you have towards my father Ali. And now Imam, he starts his battle, and there Umar ibn Sa'd, he hears. فصاح عمر بن سعد الويل لكم أتدرون لمن تقاتلون. Umar says, do you know who you are fighting? هذا ابن الأنزع البطين، هذا ابن القتال العرب. He is the son of the strongest warriors of the Arab. And then he says that, fight him. He is the son of Ali. احملوا عليه من كل جانب فحملوا عليه فحمل عليهم كالليث المغضب. Imam, he fights them like a lion in rage. فجعل لا يلحق منهم أحدا إلا بعده بالسيف فقتله حتى قتل منهم مقتلة عظيمة فحالوا بينه وبين رحله فصاح ويحكم يا شيعة آل أبي سفيان. Imam now says that, oh you the Shias of Ali Abi Sufyan, إن لم يكن لكم دين وكنتم لا تخافون المعاد. If you have no deen, if you do not fear the akhirah, the ma'ad, فكونوا أحرارا في دنياكم, be free men in this world. وارجعوا إلى أحسابكم إن كنتم عربا, and return to your calculations if you are true Arabs. فناداه شمر, Shimr, he yells out loud, says that ما تقول يا ابن فاطمة, what do you say, O son of Fatima? قال أقول أنا الذي أقاتلكم. Imam says that I am the one who's fighting with you. A request I have from you all is that not to go and address the women and children as long as I am alive. They accepted and they said that he is a generous and a Kareem warrior, so we will not be going towards attacking the women and children as long as Abu Abdullah Hussein is alive. Now, the angels, they descend, 4,000 angels, they descend to help Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. And all of them were denied help by Abu Abdullah. He returns them, says, this is a promise I have with my Lord and I'll fight myself. Now those angels, they are here in the haram of Abu Abdullah by the grave of Sayyid al-Shuhada, lauding and praising the Almighty and accepting the du'as of mu'mineen when they go to the sacred shrine. And when Imam al-Asr returns, they will be in the assistance and support of Imam al-Asr. فلم ير أحدا من أصحابه إلا من صافح التراب جنينا وقطع الحمام أنينه فخاطبه وعاتبه فما سمع منهم جوابا. Throughout this day of Ashura, it wasn't as such that Imam did not invite them towards correction, towards tawbah, until this last moment. And even when Shimr was on the chest of Abu Abdullah, over there also Imam says to him that don't commit this crime. So Amr bil Ma'ruf by the Imam was there all the way through. ثم نادى برفيع صوته هل من ناصر ينصرني. Then Imam, he calls out loud, is there anyone to help me? Throughout the day of Ashura, we see that 7 times Imam has this call of Hal min Nasirin Yansuruni. For that reason, it is mustahab that when you go to the ziyarat of Abu Abdullah, in response to this nida and call of Abu Abdullah, you say Labbayka ya da'i Allah 7 times. That is, we have come here, Imam, in response to your call of the day of Ashura. Now, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein ثم ذهب الحسين إلى قيام الطاهرات من آل رسول الله, comes to the camp, to the women, and there says, Ya Sukaina, Ya Fatima, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, alaykunna minna salam, upon you be my salam. And this is the last congregation and this is the last meeting. وَقَدْ قَرُبَ مِنْكُمْ الْإِفْتِجَاء, and very soon all this agony and pain and crying and wailing, I see that very soon happening. فَعَلَتْ أَصْوَاتُهُنَّ بِالْبُكَاءِ وَسِحْنَا. All of them, they cry, they start crying and wailing. Zainab Kubra, she steps forward, she starts kissing the hands and the feet on the feet of Abu Abdullah. Following Zainab Kubra, all the women and children, they also start kissing the hands and feet of Abu Abdullah. And there Sakina says that, Father, now that you are going, who do you leave us on? Who do we rely on? Now Sayyid al-Shuhada is someone who is generous, who is Kareem. No one comes to him but that he gives. On the day of Ashura, a few occasions were such that Imam is embarrassed that someone is seeking something from him and he is unable to provide, unable to give. There says to Sakina that قال يا نور عيني كيف لا يستسلم للموت من لا ناصر له ولا معين. Someone who has no helper, someone who has no aid, how can he not submit to death? قال ردنا إلى حرم جدنا. Sakina says, Father, at least take us back to the haram of our grandfather. قال الحسين هيهات. That is not possible, Sakina. فبكت سكينة فأخذها وضمها إلى صدره ومسح الدموع عن عينها وهو يقول. Imam comforts her, hugs her, and then wipes off the tears from her face and then says, Sakina, you will live for long after me. You've got a long life to cry for after me. Don't burn my heart in flares by these tears and crying of yours. Now, Imam has a general call. And in this call says, ثُمَّ إِنَّ الْحُسَيْنَ دَعَاهُنَّ بِأَجْمَعِهِنَّ قَالَ لَهُنَّ اسْتَعِدُّوا لِلْبَلَاءِ. Imam has a general call, says to all of them that be prepared for all these tests and trials that will unfold soon. Instructs the women to wear their head covers. And then Zainab says, why, brother? Says, very soon I see you all as captives, being taken from town to town, from city to city, all arrested and handcuffed. Now Zainab Kubra, she cries a lot upon hearing this message from Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. Now فَارْتَفَعَتْ أَصْوَاتُهُنَّ بِالْبُكَاءِ. And the Imam says that, can someone get me a shirt and a pair of trousers? Zainab Kubra, the moment she hears this, she is reminded of the wasiyah of her mother on her deathbed. There Hazrat Fatima, in the last moments of her life, says, Zainab, this shirt and these trousers, keep them with you. A day will come when my son Hussein will ask for that. Know that that is the last day of his life. And I have a wish, a wasiyah from you, Zainab, and that is, I want you to kiss the neck of my son Hussein when you give this shirt to him. Imam wears that shirt and those trousers and rips them. And the reason why he rips them off is that he says that I am among those shuhada who will be uncovered after the shahada. So I don't want them to have any desire in the attire that I am wearing. And there Imam, he rips it, and there Zainab Kubra, she kisses the neck of Abu Abdullah. And after the tragedy of Karbala, when Abu Abdullah is beheaded, she comes and she kisses the neck and then addresses Hazrat Fatima, Mother, you wanted me to kiss the neck of my brother Hussein. In addition to that, I have kissed the veins of my brother Hussein alayhi salam. Now when Abu Abdullah is setting off, ثم نادى الحسين هل من يقدم إلي جوادي. Is there anyone who can bring my horse to me? Now Zainab, she hears. Now Zainab Kubra, she is the first one all the way through. There she brings the horse to Abu Abdullah and says, who do you call Hussein? Has anyone remained? Is there anyone? There says that she gives the reins of the horse to Abu Abdullah, and now she says that Hussein, just stand before me, I want to look at you. Ey yadgar madaram, ey رو کرده وصیت مادرت تا من ببوسم هنجرت در وقت میدان رفتنت آهسته رو صبری نما تا خواهرت قرآن بگیرد بر سرت در وقت میدان رفتنت آهسته رو. Says, brother, slow down, do not rush. Let me take the Quran over your head for your protection. And then says, Ku qasimu ku akbarat Abbas o Jafarat Zainab bemirat khaharat ahiste ro. Imam, he sets off to the battlefield. He fights like a fierce lion in rage. Says, Ana al-Husayn ibn Ali آليت ألا أنثني أحمي عيالات أبي أمضي على دين النبي. I am Hussein, son of Ali, and this is for me enough to pride to boast, and that is I will support the family of my father and I will continue on the deen and religion of my grandfather. ثم نادى القوم وقال ويلكم أتقاتلوني على سنة بدلتها. Imam says, why do you fight me? Is it for something that I have changed? A sunnah that I have distorted? A teaching of Rasulullah that I have changed? All of them say again, it is for the hate that we have towards your father Ali. Now Imam starts his battle. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ الْعَلِيِّ الْعَظِيمِ. And then from all sides they throw arrows, spears and javelins at the Imam. And then فَوَقَفَ الْإِمَامِ لِيَسْتَرِيحَ سَاعًا. On these maqatil, they say that so many spears had fallen on the pure body of Abu Abdullah that from a distance a person would see and say, it looks like a porcupine with so many needles on it. فَجَعَلُوا يَرْمُونَهُ بِالسِّهَامِ وَالنِّبَالِ. Over here, Imam, he is exhausted, thirsty, fighting, and maqatil, they say that the armor that he was wearing, when he was breathing in and breathing out, it was blood that was seeping out of his armor. Says that لِيَسْتَرِيحَ سَاعَةً. Imam, he stood there to rest a little bit. وَقَدْ ضَعُفَ عَنِ الْقِتَالِ. He was so weak fighting. فَبَيْنَمَا هُوَ وَاقِفٌ إِذْ أَتَاهُ حَجَرٌ فَوَقَعَ عَلَى جَبْهَتِهِ. One of the mal'oons, he threw a stone at the Imam, which lands onto the forehead of the Imam. It starts bleeding and bleeding. فَوَقَعَ عَلَى جَبْهَتِهِ فَأَخَذَ الثَّوْبَ لِيَسْتَرِيحَ. Then Imam, he bends down and he lifts his shirt to wipe this blood that was getting into his eyes. فأتاه سهم محدد مسموم له 3 شعاب. And a javelin was thrown at the Imam, a 3-headed spear that was sharp, that was poisonous, that landed onto the pure heart of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. Now here, فَوَقَعَ السَّهْمُ صَدْرِهِ عَلَى قَلْبِهِ, on his heart, and then Imam starts saying, بسم الله وبالله وفي سبيل الله وعلى ملة رسول الله. In the name of Allah, upon the nation of Rasulullah. ثم رفع رأسه إلى السماء. He raises his head towards the sky. وقال إلهي إنك تعلم, you know that إنهم يقتلون, they are fighting, someone's fighting a man on the surface of this earth. There is no one like him. and that is the son of Rasulullah. ثم أخذ السهم وأخرجه من قفاه. Imam, he removes this arrow from behind his back. فانبعث الدم كالميزان. Then all that blood, it starts gushing and flowing from his chest. فوضع يده على صدره. Imam, he places his hand on the wound, and then he ثم رمى إلى السماء. He throws that blood towards the sky. ثم وضع يده على الجرح ثانيا. And then for the second time, Imam covers his wound with his hand for the second time. And now he rubs all that blood on his face and then says, this is how I will meet my grandfather Rasulullah, and I will tell him who killed me, that such and such a person killed me. فعند ذلك دعنا صالح بن وهب على حاضرته. دعنا. Now this mal'oon, he hits the Imam with an iron rod. فسقط على فرسه. Imam, he falls from the horse onto the ground. Now this Zuljanah also, he had so much of shu'ur, so much of understanding that it is the Imam on my back. I shouldn't do something that Imam falls to the ground. Brings Imam towards the edge of the pit, so that Imam, he gets some kind of a support from the wall of that pit, and Imam Zuljanah drops Imam down slowly. Now with all those spears on the body of the Imam, Imam places his head on the ground. With his hands he makes a pillow-like structure, and then places his injured cheek on that pillow and says that Sabran ala qada'ik, patience will honor at this destiny and decree of yours, O Lord. Ya Rab, la ma'buda siwak. O Lord, there is no ma'bud but you. ثم وثب ليقوم للقتال فلم يقدر. Imam wants to stand, Imam wants to fight, but Hussein has no strength anymore. فبكى بكاء شديدا. He cries a lot and says, Ya Jaddah, Ya Muhammadah, wa Abata, wa Aliyya, wa Ghurbata, wa Qillat Nasira. How few are my supporters. أقتل مظلوما وجدي محمد المصطفى. Must I be killed, oppressed and Mazloom, whence my father, the grandfather is Muhammad Mustafa. أصبح عطشانا وأبي علي المرتضى. Must I be killed thirsty, whence my father is Ali Murtada. أترك مهتوكا وأمي فاطمة الزهراء. Must I be abandoned over here, whence my mother is Fatima الزهراء. ثم خرجت زينب من الفسطاط. You see Zainab Kubra, when she sees Abu Abdullah and Hussein has fallen to the ground, she runs from the camps and then says, Wa akha, my brother, wa sayyida, wa ahl bayta, laytat as-samaa atbaqat ala al-ard. I wish the skies had fallen on the ground. ليت الجبال تدكدكت على السهل. I wish the mountains they had shattered. اليوم مات أمي. Today my mother died. اليوم ماتت أمي. And today my mother died. ومصيبتا كشت شد حسين. زلزلة عار دشت کربلا. कांपने लगा अर्श किबरिया. कांपने लगा अर्श किबरिया. गूंजती थी जब हर तरफ सदा. वाह मुसीबता कुश्त शुद हुसैन. देती थी सदा शेख दिलरुबा. देती थी सदा शेख दिलरुबा. बाबा का मेरे खुश्क है गला. बाबा का मेरे खुश्क है गला. शिमर बेहया तीर मत चला. वाह मुसीबता कुश्त शुद हुसैन.
ثم نادت ويحك يا ابن سعد أيقتل أبو عبد الله وأنت تنظر إليه. Hazrat Zainab, she says, shame upon you. That is, Abu Abdullah be killed and you all look at him. Is there not a Muslim over here who could help him? And no one responds to Zainab's call. ثم انحدرت نحو المعركة. Zainab, she rushes towards the battlefield. وهي تقوم مرة وتقعد أخرى. Zainab from Talla Zainab, here she rushes. She stands up, she falls to the ground. She rises again, throwing the dust and sand onto her face and comes to Abu Abdullah. There says, Anta al-Husayn akhi. Are you my brother Hussein? Anta ibn Ummi. Are you my mother's son? Anta Hiwana. Are you my support? Anta Rajana. Are you my hope? And now it is about the pleading and crying of Zainab Kubra. She makes Abu Abdullah sit up. She helps him sit up. And then Imam Hussein opens his eyes. From the corner of his eyes says, Zainab Kubra, don't plead so much. Don't cry so much. And then Abu Abdullah and Hussein, Zainab Kubra says to him that Ruhi li ruhika al-fida, nafsi li nafsika al-wada. فخرج Abdullah ibn Hassan. At this point, when Zainab Kubra is helping Abu Abdullah and Hussein, Imam Hassan's son Abdullah, 10 years old, he comes out of the camps. And there he sees that his uncle has fallen to the ground. Imam Hussein says, Kulthum, take him back, take him back. And then he doesn't stop, he rushes towards Abu Abdullah, and that Man'oon, he attacks and the hand of Abdullah bin Hassan, and that hand got sliced, and he falls in the laps of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Another arrow was shot onto Abdullah bin Hassan that attaches him to the chest of Abu Abdullah. Now this is one of those spears that Abu Abdullah, he could not remove from his body. Now here, ثم صاح Umar ibn Sa'd. Umar ibn Sa'd, he yelled, shame upon you. انزلوا وحروا وحزوا رأسه. Get down and remove the head of Hussein. One of them, to one of those mal'oons, he says, ويلك انزل إلى الحسين وأرحه. Get down and behead Hussein. Now this mal'oon, Umar ibn al-Hajjaj, he comes to kill Abu Abdullah. He looks at the eyes of Imam Hussein and retreats. And Hashim says, why did you come back? He says that I looked at his eyes as if they were the eyes of Rasulullah. Now here Shimr ibn al-Jawshan, la'natullahi alayhi, he sits on the chest of Abu Abdullah and Hussein. Now the way how he beheads Abu Abdullah is from behind the head. He knocks with the sword 12 times, and after that he removes the head of Abu Abdullah alayhi salam.
मुक़द्दस पर जो खून से सुर्ख थी और सलाम उन खाकालूदा रुखसारों पर सलाम उस पे जो ठहरा ज़मीं पे तीरों की वो जिसने सजदाए हक़ में लहू जबी रखी मेरा मौला हुसैन तन सकन हवासुक वज़फ़ियतन फासुक। आपने अपने दस्तो पा साकिन कर लिए थे और आपकी सांस रुकने लगी थी। मेरा मौला हुसैन जाने या मेरा मौला इमाम ज़माना जाने कि مولا نے اپنے دست و پا کیوں ساکن کر لیے؟ بدن پہ زخم لگے پورا بدن لرزتا ہے، لیکن جس کے بدن پہ 900 سے زیادہ زخم ہو، خدا جانے یا میرا مولا امام زمانہ جانے کہ اس نے اپنے دست و پا کو کیوں ساکن کر لیا۔ شاید تھا دست و پا کیے ساکن کہ چل رہی تھی چھری، وہ سانس روکے ہوئے تھا کہ ماں سرہانے تھی، بہت سکون سے خدا کی طرف چلا ہے حسین، پتا چلے نہ یہ ماں کو تڑپ رہا ہے حسین، بہت سکون سے خدا کی طرف چلا ہے حسین، پتا چلے نہ یہ ماں کو تڑپ رہا ہے حسین، جو میرا فرض تھا اماں ادا کیا میں نے، زمین میں لاش اصغر چھپا دیا میں نے، جوان بیٹے کا لاشا اٹھا لیا میں نے، میں اب بھی پیاسا ہوں پانی نہیں پیا میں نے، بہت سکون سے خدا کی طرف چلا ہے حسین، پتا چلے نہ یہ ماں کو تڑپ رہا ہے حسین، یہاں سے سیدھا میں اصغر کے پاس جاؤں گا، اور نہ ڈر لگے اسے سینے پہ میں سلاؤں گا، نہ میں بغیر سکینہ سکون یہاں سے سیدھا میں اصغر کے پاس جاؤں گا، ابھی جب میرا مولا حسین آخری رخصت لے کے خیمے سے باہر نکلے، شاید سکینہ پیچھے پیچھے آئی ہو، بابا میں آپ کے سینے میں سونے کی آتی ہوں، شاید میرا مولا فرماتا ہو بیٹا آج کے بعد یہ طریقہ بدلنا ہوگا، تو ماں کے سینے میں سو جانا، اصغر میرے سینے میں سو جانا، یہاں سے سیدھا میں اصغر کے پاس جاؤں گا، نہ ڈر لگے اسے سینے پہ میں سلاؤں گا، میں بغیر سکینہ سکون پاؤں گا، میں ایک دل اسے زندہ میں لینے آؤں گا، بہت سکون سے خدا کی طرف چلا ہے حسین، پتا چلے نہ یہ ماں کو تڑپ رہا ہے حسین، ان للہ و انا الیہ راجعون، رضا قضائہ و تسلیما
جی تو ٹائم کتنا ہے؟